Coming up now on Animal Outtakes, a new concept is being put to the test with the Peace River Canine Search and Rescue teams.
Yes, good boy.
Good boy.
That a good boy.
Good boy.
Good boy, Fritz.
We get to see what it's like in the field during an equine scent detection training session.
Yes.
We got her.
Good girl. Good girl. Plus, we meet some of the volunteers who spend their time helping others.
This was a way that I could incorporate what I love with the horses and also help maybe save a life one day.
And when hope was lost, this family turned to Donte's Den Foundation for help.
He can't be rehomed, he can't go to another home where his only hope, or he would be a dead dog.
We can't wait to share Kamali's success story. This and much more straight ahead on Animal Outtakes. Peace River Canine Search and Rescue was established in hopes of helping families find peace. The Southwest Florida nonprofit provides highly trained teams to help find missing or lost people. Their teams assist agencies all over the country in all types of terrain, and now they're expanding their capabilities. We had the privilege of seeing firsthand how equine scent detection can be a game changer in the world of search and rescue. Let's take a look. Papa?
And he's going to go through and he's going to put his nose on the one that has the odor on it. Yes, good boy. And so you saw he went through the carpets and he picked out the ones that were negative, and then he picked out the one that was positive.
Mike, we know about the dogs and the dog centers, so as to speak, and they are just right on the money.
Incredible.
But now we have the horses, thanks to you.
Yeah.
How do they fare out with the dogs?
So far, they are nose to nose with the dogs, and they seem to be doing a really good job. We were concerned at first. We didn't know how well it would work, and we weren't sure how to train them, because I know how to train dogs, but does that training theory move over to horses? And so far it's worked incredibly well. So they're doing a great job.
Why did you come up with that idea?
We have a problem in Florida because it's hot here. And as I tell people who in search teams of other parts of the country out west, you know, they have the beautiful forests and open areas that they search. I say, come to Southwest Florida. It's Jurassic Park down here. I mean, we've got every critter known to man out there trying to get you. Gators and pythons and snakes and panthers, and we're dealing with all of that in abundance. And then on top of that, we've got these dogs that have to work in the heat. And the dogs do a fabulous job. But in the summertime, you know, they'll get one or two sectors where they can search 30 minutes to an hour in these heavy palmetto forests that we have here, and they're cooked, they're done, and they run out of gas, and we got to put them back in their crates, put a fan on them, cool them down, try to recharge them. That takes an hour, hour and a half to do that. So one of the ways that we did that was combating that was by having a large inventory of dogs. So we had the first run team out, 6, 7 dogs in their sectors running, and a sector is a mile square for us, 60 acres. And then when those dogs came in, after they were finished, we had the second group, and they would go out and take over while the other group rested. And we tried to do that, but we just didn't get the coverage that we wanted to get. So we started working on the horses from just a perspective of having them grid search in the what we call the outer containment line, which is, you know, we figure he's moved, we're going to be a half a mile out, so we set up a containment line and we work the horses from the containment line back, and they're grid searching through the woods. They're much better at the palmettos. They're taller, they can see over the palmetto. The riders are above the palmettos, they can do it. And when we started training them, the thing that always amazed me with the horses is when we were doing positive and negative areas, meaning the positive area has a person hiding in that area. As soon as we lined the horses up, they knew there was somebody in that area. Before they even started going in there, they knew that guy was in there every time. And I'm like, how do they do that? Is this some kind of psychic ability that they have? I mean, what is going on with this? And we noted, we started messing around with the wind, putting them upwind versus downwind and seeing the changes. And we realized that it's an odor issue, that they're picking up the odor as soon as they get into the sector of where the person is. And I'm thinking, why can't we use that to our advantage?
It's really exciting, and horses have a sixth sense. A lot of people don't understand this, but if you put a horse in the field, they can sense danger, a snake, a wild boar, whatever it is. They know there's something there. It's just a sixth sense. And what we're doing is we're fine-tuning that, so to speak.
So on the live find stuff, the horses picked up very quickly that they knew the guy was in there. They would walk right up to him on their own. They'd say, hey, he's right here, Mom, here he is, you know, and they did that on their own without us having to really teach it to them. So I thought, well, where we really need the help is in these human remains recovery searches that we do, because there's huge areas, you know, like Ocala Forest and out here, and we need something that can work in a large area. Whereas the dog's good for 30 minutes to an hour, depending on the outside temperature, the horses can go 4, 5, 6 hours, and they can cover a lot of turf. And so we started experimenting with scent imprinting them on human remains, and we found that they were very receptive, and they started working it. So we have them coming up, putting their nose right on the target odor, and showing you right where it is, and they have been loving it. So we've had a lot of fun with it.
Any special breed of the horse that does a little bit better than the other, or is it across the board?
Well, they all seem to be receptive to it. It's like dogs. Some have a lot of get up and go and some don't. They all can learn, and they seem to be learning. Some are more motivated than others, but you know, in the dog world we have the same problem. You know? So
yes, we do.
we have our zippity doodah dogs, and then we have the lazy ones that just kind of, you know, they're out there moseying around.
Well, they take life easy.
That's right. No stress. So
you receive calls from the entire state, do you not?
Entire country now, yeah. For the dog teams, we got teams that travel anywhere from Wyoming down through California, Virginia, Maine. Last year we were about 11 different states working with the dogs.
Now what about the horses?
Horses, we're working the horses right now, and we're going to get the horses certified, and then they're going to be as a certified team out there working, and we'll make them available to law enforcement and for use on these recoveries.
If somebody decided that they wanted to do this, can they?
Yeah, absolutely. We take volunteers all the time. It's entirely run by volunteers. This whole search and rescue in Florida is a volunteer effort.
You really need to use rider judgment, because sometimes you're sent to go into a place, and if it's not safe for that horse to go, you need to make that call, because you can't bring a crane into a swamp to get your horse out of trouble. So when we're sent into an area where there's glass or there's hazardous things, you really have to pay attention for your horse. So you have to have an eye for you and an eye for them too.
We pay for our own expenses, where we raise money through Peace River as a nonprofit. If we need equipment or we have a certain expense that's coming up, we try to raise the money to take care of those. But most everybody just brings their horses in and tries. The funny thing about the scent part of it was that no one thinks of a horse as a scenting animal.
We don't.
Right. It's just a riding animal, and it's just something that you take out for a Saturday ride or something, and costs a lot of money to get the shoes done and the teeth done and all that stuff.
To say nothing of the food.
So the food.
Food.
And then, but then you say, well, we use it mostly for scent work now, and they're like, what? You know, and you're like, yeah, they're really good at it. And so that just brings a whole nother level of excitement into the horse field. And so we've had a lot of interest in it lately, and hopefully we'd like to get the unit built up to anywhere between 10 to 20 horses out here.
So we know that they have advantages, of course, of height and so on. But what about the nose? Who's got the advantage? Is it the dog? Is it the horse? Or are they even?
Well, if we do it just from the basic X-ray, the dog has more scent chambers than the horse does. So we have to give the physical advantage to the dog. I will tell you though, in working him in the field, as far as what we've done so far, I haven't seen one take an advantage over the other. So they really are both good. Now, because of the dog's nature and the dog's desire to please more, we can get more behaviors out of the dog, meaning tracking and and some scent discrimination work. I don't see any reason why the horses can't do that if they wanted to. I just haven't figured out how to teach them how to do that yet. So that'll be the next thing.
Because a horse has a sixth sense and a dog has a better nose, they complement each other in a way that makes them a good team. Now, there are a lot of horses that don't like dogs, and they have to learn. Mules especially don't typically like dogs, okay? So we're trying very hard to get them to be friends, so to speak, so they can respect each other and work together.
In my life, there's no greater charge I get than working with an animal, you know. And when I started these horses, COVID year was a tough year for us, and we were really not sure whether Peace River would even survive, you know, with all the stuff going on. And we were like, wow, what do we do next? And so we made the decision to work on some of our specialty projects that we wanted to do. And so for me and my mental health and talking about that, working with the horses was a big savior for me, because it got me really doing something that I enjoyed doing, something new, very challenging, very interesting, and to see the animals respond and enjoy the work too was a big thrill for me. So really kind of saved my soul through the whole thing, because it gave me a big boost. At the end of the day, for us at Peace River, it's all about the family, and the family's missing somebody, and we want to get them home. And doing recovery work with the dogs is wonderful, and the dogs are great at it, but they're limited in how much work we can get out of them. And that's where the horses are going to pick up that other stretch and bring them home. So I feel better at the end of the day when we do a search and the horses and the dogs are out there. I feel like we really gave it a good search. And it's a marvelous thing to see. You know, they're definitely part of the team now.
Yeah.
Good girl. Stay there, stay there, stay there. Good hopper. Good hopper. Did you see her ears, Mike? Yeah. Did you see her ears and her head snap? Yeah. That was awesome.
She really got it.
That was awesome. For more information about this program or how you can help, you can log on to their website, prsar.org. Coming up next, we hear from the human volunteers themselves. And a little later in the show, we head to Donte's Den Foundation, where trainers are helping make life easier for this little guy. His bad behavior was taking him down a dead-end street. Stay tuned. We'll be back after the break.
I think something happened to my family. I'm scared and lonely. What's going to happen to me now?
Don't worry, Sonny. Our loving staff at Donte's Den will take care of all your pet needs for the rest of your life. A warm bed, toys, great food, walking, and swimming is all at your paw tips. And if you get sick, there is even a hospital and medical staff to help you get well. Donte's Den, continuing the love.
Welcome back. Now we want to introduce you to some of the volunteers who are the heart and soul of the Peace River Canine Search and Rescue. So much credit goes to the selfless animals who help locate missing and endangered people. But we know the humans leading the dogs and the horses can be the driving force of these teams.
Ready? Huffa. Go find Huffa.
Usually it's law enforcement that brings us in. They need extra help. And the unique thing that we do is bring in trained searchers at a professional level. So when our people hit the ground, they know that they know what they're doing.
This isn't work to them. This is a game with a reward at the end. And that's our goal with the horses, is to let them know that what they are going to be taught is a game, and that they get a reward at the end. It's not work. This is Missy. I've had her for, gosh, 10 years, about 10 years now. Yeah, we do a lot of riding together, just a lot of trail riding. And Shay came out of Tennessee as a rescue puppy, and we brought her here and hoped that she would become a good search dog. Worked hard, had a rough beginning. She was very aggressive in the beginning. Don't know why. We were told that her mother was very aggressive, and she came from like a kennel, so outside of the kennel she was afraid. So it was a fear aggression that she has, and we've worked hard to get her over it, and she's done really good. So now she's certified in cadaver and in live find.
My personal horse is a retired racehorse, so she's really wired to run, and she will be good at this, but it's going to take a little bit longer to get her focus, her attention, because she's not a food hound so much as some of these other horses are. So depending what kind of search we're going to do, I might not take her, I might ride a different horse. I came from a background of a lot of wilderness and offshore sailing and navigation and riding, competition riding, eventing, dressage, jumping. And I saw this as a way to enjoy the wilderness and take all the skills that I'd spent a lifetime compiling and use it, put it to use. I do ride on the mounted team, but I also have a radio license. I also flank for the dogs. I also do navigation. He trains us in emergency management, first aid. So he really piles the training on, and all of us have that training. So if it doesn't call for horses, we can hit the ground in the boots too.
But you know, it's therapy both for the human as well as the animal.
Yeah, we've changed so many animals. There's a mule out here that you'll meet who is a Clyde. And he was a mule that had been left for dead. He came in starving, and he has been recycled. And he's doing out here with our horse team now, and he's doing great work. He looks great. He's a fun mule to be around. He's very affectionate.
Mules can be better than horses. They're actually smarter than horses, which means you got to be careful about making mistakes with them. But I did a lot of research before I got a mule. I had a rescue pony mule before I got the riding mule. And I kind of rehabilitated her and learned from her and did a lot of research. And then getting older, I thought a nice older mule would be something that I could use for the search and rescue.
I was a farrier for 40 years. I started on the racetrack in 1970. In my little career, I helped horses that had broken bones, leg problems, post-surgeries, diseases like laminitis and navicular, and just went into a whole medical aspect of it. And it's because I cared about them not having a voice, basically, you know, and I learned how to read them when they didn't feel good, how they walked, how they looked, the facial expression. It was very important to me to help them, and people would say, well, how do you know that? I'm not sure how I know that. I feel it. I just know it. I feel like I somewhat have a gift in knowing how they think and how they feel, and it took a long time to get that. Dogs are fight animals, horses are flight animals, so you have to treat them differently.
This was a way that I could incorporate what I love with the horses and also help maybe save a life one day.
We saw a need to keep searching, because a lot of times the searches get shut down because they don't have any leads or they don't have anything, so we pick it up and we keep going. The families drive us because they don't want to get their loved one back, but it does take a toll on us emotionally, and it certainly has taken its toll on me over the many years that I've done this. And you know, I've been diagnosed with PTSD, so I have to deal with that now as well as some of the other things. And this is it's a tough business. We carry 2 chaplains on the team now. They help us with our emotional stresses, both for the family members and the team members. And it's amazing with the animals too, because they do sense grief, and they do know when something's not quite right.
I mean, I've attended a funeral for a little girl, and that was hard, but our dogs are also emotional support for us, and even the equines.
More than just your way home, you can dream about it at night, or you can think about it a lot. I think you don't get into this job unless you care, and we end up searching for a lot of people that are somewhat marginalized sometimes by society, a lot of people who have disabilities or have emotional because they're not necessarily accepted, or they have a problem, one kind of problem or another. And the one thing that you really learn is that it's all the same to the family. It's their loved one, and even if other people can say, oh, that person was just this, and not pay attention, in this job, you're going to see it firsthand, so it will affect you.
The big thing for me when mom and dad know where their child is that they can heal up now. It's not going to be a great ending. It's not a fairy tale ending, but at least they can heal up because now they know where they are. And all that worry can stop. Then the next case comes down and we're off on to the next case.
For more information on how you can volunteer, go to their website. We'll be right back. In this week's segment of Breaking Barriers, we'll introduce you to Kamali. His owners were worried that his aggressive behavior could mean the end of the road. But trainer Sean Hill was not intimidated. See how the right kind of training may have saved this pup's life.
He did put teeth on somebody and he did bite somebody, so I couldn't let that go any further. The previous owner was training him to be a guard dog, which I did not know about. It's scary to have him around, people that he doesn't know because he was unpredictable and I didn't know what he would do. So it was scary for me as an owner because I didn't know, is he going to try to lunge at somebody, try to bite at somebody, so I just wanted, I want to feel comfortable and confident knowing that I know he's not going to do that. If he were to, bite somebody, for the second time or at all again, that he would be a dead dog. And that's another reason why my husband and I haven't given up on him, because we feel he can't be rehomed, he can't go to another home. We're his only hope, or he would be a dead dog. So now here I am, 3 trainers in, and finally found somebody that can help me.
So everything we've done with him has been hand signals and verbal commands. As you can see, come on, come, hip. I know, we're a little slow. Sit, down. That's a good boy. Oh, there you go. How's this? How's this, huh? Yeah. Big difference from when we first started a month ago. A lot of socialization drills, right? So his big issue was he had no confidence. So anytime he got around people, he'd get a little growly, a little low, and he didn't want to be pet or played with. No, but he's really been great. I mean, the first day took us 2.5 hours to get, in order to get a leash on him. And that was, him learning and us learning at the same time. His behavioral traits, the way he moves, and after 2.5 hours, we haven't had an issue since. So we started by one handler at a time, introducing a new person to him every day till we got up to about 12 different people that have now walked and played with Kamali, and he is doing fantastic. As you can see, it's a totally different young man. It's just, the key is just re-socializing him and getting him used to being around a lot of people. When issues arise with Kamali, if I redirect him by telling him phooey and giving him another command, he stops the behavior that he was actually currently in. And Kamali has learned quite a bit while he was here. Really, sit and down. And we'll redirect him into a new command. And he stops the growlies, he stops all that, so his obedience is impeccable. Right, buddy? Aren't you? Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? And get that tail going. You get the nubby going? Okay.
It has been life-changing, like just seeing, how an insecure dog Kamali was to where he's at now.
For more information on the training programs offered at Donte's Den Foundation, visit dontesden.org. And we'll be right back. Animal Outtakes is produced by Donte's Den Foundation, a nonprofit group dedicated to creating the best life for dogs. If you would like to learn more about Donte's Den, donate, or volunteer, visit our website, dontesden.org. We hope you had fun and learned a thing or two along the way. We'll be back here again next week with more animals and even more adventures. Until then, thanks for watching. This is Beamer. Yes! And you have worked with, and you have worked with Beamer for a long time.
Yes, I have.
Yeah. But you don't think he's just a tad bit jealous of the horse that you're not working with?
No, he's not. He's not jealous. He's just very cocky and hates attention.
Does he really? Yeah, I can see that.
Stop. It'll be okay.